She didn't lose because she was weak. She lost because she thought too much. At first, no one noticed it, because from the outside, she looked normal. She smiled when people talked to her. She nodded at the right moments. She even laughed sometimes. But inside, something was always running. A constant voice that never stopped. Every small thing became something big in her mind. If someone didn't reply on time, she thought, did I say something wrong? If someone looked away while she was speaking, she thought, they're bored of me. If there was even a small silence in a conversation, she felt, I should say something, or this will become awkward. And so, she started thinking more, not just about what happened, but about what could happen. Every conversation became a puzzle. Every word needed to be perfect. One day, she was sitting with a group of people. They were talking, laughing, sharing stories, and she wanted to say something. She had a thought, a simple one, but before she could speak, her mind stepped in. What if it sounds stupid? What if no one reacts? What if they ignore me? And in those few seconds, the moment passed. Someone else spoke. The conversation moved on, and she stayed quiet. Again. This didn't happen once. It happened again, and again, and again. Every time she tried to speak, her mind stopped her. Not because she had nothing to say, but because she had too many thoughts. This is what happens to people who think too much. Their mind doesn't just observe reality. It tries to control it. It tries to predict reactions, avoid mistakes, and protect them from discomfort. But in doing so, it creates something worse. Hesitation. Slowly, she started noticing something. Other people spoke easily. They didn't think so much. They didn't hesitate. And people listened to them. While she kept missing her moments. And this created a new thought. Maybe I'm just not good at this. Now it wasn't just overthinking. It became self-doubt. She stopped trusting her own thoughts. Even when she had something meaningful to say, she questioned it. Is this even worth saying? And most of the time, she chose silence. But she didn't express. And slowly, people stopped expecting her to speak. They stopped asking her opinions. Not because they didn't care, but because she never showed them. The more she stayed silent, the more invisible she became. Overthinking doesn't just affect your thoughts. It affects your identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who can't express, can't speak, can't connect, and that belief becomes your reality. There were moments when she went home and replayed everything. What if I had said that? That would have been a perfect moment. They would have understood me. But those moments were gone, and regret stayed. She didn't lose opportunities because she was incapable. She lost them because she was trapped in her own mind. Overthinking creates fear, hesitation, delay, and conversations don't wait. They move fast. If you pause too long, you lose the moment. One day, something different happened. She was again in a conversation. And again, she had something to say. And again, her mind started speaking. Wait. Think. Be careful. But this time, she noticed it. She realized This is not helping me. This is stopping me. And for the first time, she didn't listen to that voice. She spoke. Not perfectly, not confidently, but honestly. And something surprising happened. Nothing bad. No one judged her. No one ignored her. The conversation simply continued. That's when she understood something important. The problem was never her words. It was her fear of saying them. She started doing something different. Instead of thinking everything through, she allowed herself to speak imperfectly. Sometimes it felt awkward. Sometimes it didn't make sense. But slowly, it became easier. She started noticing. She spoke more. She hesitated less. She felt lighter. And conversations felt natural again. If you think too much, you don't lose because you're weak. You lose because you never give yourself a chance to act. So the next time you feel that hesitation, that moment when your mind says, wait, think, don't say it. Pause. And remind yourself, you don't need perfect words. You just need to speak. Because sometimes, the biggest things you lose in life are not opportunities, but the moments you were too afraid to live.